I feel like somebody was looking out for you on the jump day.
Oh, yeah, that would. Can you imagine? I think the whole rear axle would have just come out from underneath the truck that day.
What's up, wheelers? It is Tuesday morning, bright and early. I'm at Exodus4x4. Didn't bring the Jeep this time. First for me. Came down here in the Raptor, aka the Craptor, and we're gonna do a little work on it. A buddy of mine gave me a set 4 red fuel wheels, and then another buddy, Dusty, who has Noggin, he upgraded to 39s, and I swapped him some Jeep parts for some 37 KM3s. I got a set of Eibach front springs for the Raptor and a set of Icon rear leaf springs for it. And we brought them down here. We're gonna rebuild the factory shocks on this thing, throw on those springs, throw on the 37s. Just gonna stay true to the cheap budget build of the Craptor. Okay, I'm gonna try to get Bubba out of his shop, out of work, and see if he wants to go cruising around. So let's go check it out. Let's go see what the guys are doing. It's a rare Bubba sighting. Trying to stay out of the way. I'm in the area where you pay more for helping.
Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too. Let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too. Let's get it started. I'm ready. Let's get it.
All right, where we going? So Tony's here for his shocks on his Gen 1 Raptor to get rebuilt, and we're gonna throw some leaf springs in the rear.
Nice.
With a new Eibach spring on the front coilovers.
Yep.
To give you some lift.
Yes. Why? Because we're putting 37s on it.
Yes, because it's gonna have 37s, and also we'll do an alignment.
Yeah.
But we don't have the charging needle for the shocks, so.
That's the bearded lady.
There goes Ryan.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go visit our buddy Hudson at Moab Truck Gear and get the necessary apparatus to charge.
Those guys are the AKA Raptor Run guys.
Right? Raptor Run guys. Yeah. Baja and Texas type.
We need to do that again.
Yeah.
I might take the Raptor this time.
I think so. And then we're gonna go drop stuff off at Powder Coat because the Gladiator is sold. And so it's a good blueprint for a awesome build. It was a very, it was a very good build. In a sense that it always performed. It didn't, I mean, I broke it a couple times, but it only made it stronger. So.
What doesn't kill you?
Yep. What didn't kill that truck made it stronger, but it didn't really give me any trouble.
Baja,
I mean, even Baja, even a Baja, I broke the hell out of the truck, but we were with good company, and those guys knew exactly where to go and get it fixed, and we were only down one day in Baja, and we had a good time. In hindsight, it wasn't that, even though we missed some really awesome stuff that day, it only gives us a reason to go back. But
I feel like somebody was looking out for you on the jump day.
Oh, yeah, that would. Can you imagine? I think the whole rear axle would have just come out from underneath the truck that day.
It might have looked like the other one that's sitting at your shop after the landing.
No, it would have been much worse. It would have looked like a dog, a wormy dog in the yard, dragging its ass across all the grass. That would have been that truck because the brackets were completely broken up.
Yeah, it was like 45 4-inch cutting wheels later, and 3 charges on a Carnage welder. We were back on the road.
Well, back on the road enough to get to the guy that
Jay Jr.
overcharged me.
Yeah. Your first experience in Baja being forcefully made love to.
That hurt.
Yeah, and then the dude chased me down beating on the windows because he wanted another $45 for the
cutting disc.
That's where I got the 40.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forget about that.
It was a good time.
It wasn't enough.
Yeah, the $735 wasn't enough. Couldn't kick in the cutting wheels.
Yeah. I was ready to hire that guy and bring him back to the States and work for me, but
you could have handled your billing.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. The dude, not necessarily as a fabricator, but just to make sure that we got paid.
Yeah, exorbitant.
He's going to be chasing customers down in the parking lot, banging on their window for more money. It didn't feel like that was adequate.
Yeah, you know what? I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to charge you more.
Yep. I know we agreed on this price. Well, no, I guess that's the problem. I never agreed on a price with the guy. I had to do it.
Yeah, he knew it too. I mean,
Yeah.
he could have turned us away as well. So
He could have, but instead he took the next 3 months off on a vacation.
that was the day Randy went and got like $75 worth of street tacos, and we'd already eaten.
Yeah. He's like, hey guys, look, I brought lunch. We just ate lunch.
We just ate it, man. We
It's
wondered
great.
where you went.
Yeah.
We thought somebody had kidnapped him, and we were going to get around to turning that into the police.
And eventually. I'm gonna give it a couple days to make sure it wasn't a hoax.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was looking back, it was a lot of fun. Even the bad times were great. And that's the great thing about those trips is that, unless somebody dies.
Yeah.
Worse than
Then it's a damper.
that's
situation.
Yeah, but everything else, you just gotta look at the silver linings.
Yeah, and everybody came back under their own power on that trip, and that hasn't always been the case. The trip right before that, Raptor ate a boulder.
Yeah, that guy had to be pulled out, towed out.
And I heard that towed his truck, so he was stuck down there for a minute trying to get the Mexican insurance to work.
Yeah, I bet you that's easy.
Yeah. Especially on a high-end vehicle like that.
Yeah. And our trip before that, like the year before, we did the JKX.
Yep.
Guys were being towed out.
Yep.
Not us. We didn't get towed out. Other people got towed out.
Yeah, I was surprised Clifford did as well as he did because he wasn't ready for that trip. But
is anybody ever ready for a trip? No, they're not.
No.
And then what's always weird for me?
What?
My steering wheel's always off.
Oh yeah.
My drag link is just a little bit out of adjustment.
Yeah.
And I gotta fix it on the Gladiator before this guy takes it next week. It's been off at probably about 5 degrees. Just enough to be annoying, but not tripping the ABS, not ABS, but traction control. It's been like that for a solid year. I drove it to Baja like that and back. King of the Hammers.
King of the Hammers. Yeah, the crazy thing is I did Baja, and we did Moab, and did Paladura, steering wheel straight as an arrow. And I went up to Lake City and did the Alpine Loop and came back like this.
Oh,
and I'm like, there's nothing on that trail to bend anything.
Yeah, it's basically, compared to everything else you've done, it's like
this road, like I-35.
It's just a dirt road.
And some man I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them more to believers. Break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted. Yeah, now let's get it started. Let's get it,
It's good to see the Raptor guys again.
Yeah, man, it's always fun.
It's crazy what they were saying about the cars getting stolen, though. That's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, we seconds before pulling in, we're talking about how fun it'd go back to Baja, and then we're like, nah, I don't think so.
Stay side. How fast we change?
Yes. Nevada!
Yeah, it's ghost towns. Let's go.
Ghost town tour of Raptors. Yes! Oh, did you see that? Look how barren that lot is.
That's insane.
We'll go over there and check that out later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane how depleted the dealerships look right now.
Yeah.
If you buy it.
If you buy it, yeah.
Yeah.
A rooster will be there.
Necessarily.
You're going to have plenty of your builds there.
Yeah, so there'll be tons of builds there.
Yeah. And how stressful is that when you have like eight Jeeps you built at an off-road event built to destroy Jeeps?
Yeah. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that until now.
Well, bring a crescent and some vice grips. Keep them in your back pocket.
Zip ties.
Zip ties. Y'all carry duct tape.
Look at that truck.
I am looking at that truck. It's just
So weird. It's like looking at a naked person.
it looks brand new, man.
It does.
The beauty of a wrap.
It does keep them nice and fresh. We dropped the Gladiator off just now to get some paint touched up on it.
Yes.
But now in this truck, the 2012 Ford F-150 with the 5-liter V8, it'll be more than that. Yeah, Jeep guy. So it'll be more than that when we're done with it because we'll be putting the Roush supercharger on it. Yeah.
So you're building your own Raptor, for those of you who aren't paying attention right now.
Yeah, well, we haven't told anybody about it. So, and I've been reluctant to do it because, you know, we're selling the Gladiator. We've got a Bronco in order, and now we're going to build a Raptor out of the Gen 1 style Raptor out of this F-150, and it looks like it's just these things all happening at the same time. It looks like we're bailing on Jeep and just going all Ford. That is not the case at all. So we haven't. These were plans that we were going to do for a long time. We knew we were going to order a Bronco when they first came out. Ever since the last. The Baja trip last year, it's been almost a year. I decided then, I was like, yeah, you know, I really want a Raptor, but I want to kind of build my own. It's not cheaper at all, but I get to build it the way I want it, and you know.
I mean, a guy like you is going to be replacing everything anyway, so does it really make sense to buy a Gen 1 Raptor?
Yeah, right. Like, so if I was gonna be doing what I'm putting a Curry 9-inch axle in it. Well, if I had a Gen 1 Raptor, that's money I'd spend anyways. I'm replacing the shocks with ADS race shocks. So they're massive 3.0 shocks. So that's something, you know, the whole suspension basically. Even if I had a Raptor, I'd still be replacing that same suspension, except for the lower control arms. It's really the only thing that. And axle shafts. Really the only things that would stay there. So
yeah, that just doesn't make sense to start with a Raptor in this situation.
Right. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
I think theoretically, this is my theory, that I will keep this build somewhat. I wanted to, you know what I hate is when I build something so much, I hate it.
Yeah.
And we do that very often with the Jeeps. You know, guys will go out and take a nice JK and they think they want to run 40s on it. And then they build these Super Duty axles or these massive 60, 80 axle combos with lots of suspension. And I mean, I've done it. And I end up not even enjoying to drive the Jeep on a daily basis, right? It's like, all right, I'm going to California. I gotta drive the Jeep the whole way there. Like, oh God, you know. One thing about the Gladiator though is I think I got close to that point, but I never got to that point.
Right, I just drove it for the first time, and it's very civil.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Like I had full plans to go completely full potato on that thing, and fortunately, we're in this situation right now with inventory. You know, there isn't any. So a lot of what I already have, I could just turn around and sell for the same, you know, full retail price. I mean, it's all brand new stuff anyway, it's still in the box, but I don't have to sell it for a loss at all. I mean, people are seething for these parts. The double throwdown front suspension that we've had it boxed up for a year, is there. You know, it's already sold. I had it sold before I even thought about selling it because I had a guy knew I had it. But the only thing that I don't have a home for yet, but I think I do know where this is going, is the 9-inch, the Curry F9 axles that we bought, which we were going to do with the full Evo double throwdown suspension. We were going to do the trailing arms in the rear of the Gladiator. We were going to go full blown on that thing.
It's going to be rooster truck. You know,
beyond that, with the double throwdown in the rear, it was going to be
the rear was going to be trailing arms,
bypass shocks, coilovers, Evo. You know, and I think we'll still buy that kit. I just don't know. I don't know yet. So, but I have the Curry 9-inch axles there. The rear axle is completely tabless. We ordered that way because we were going to do the trailer arms at the, you know, in triangulation. but I have the Ranchero. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to reallocate those axles to that build because they're already set up for that style build. What we were going to do, you know, four link the front with the track bar still. The rear, though, we will do a 4-link trailing arm setup, and that axle's already set up for it. It's 513 gears, ARB lockers. Even though I don't really plan on rock crawling that, that's a build that that's a very good start to that build and what I want. You know, but that's all I want to talk about on that build. I'm not going to say any more about it because there's a lot to do there. And going back to, we're not giving up on Jeep.
Yeah.
We're still gonna have the Jeep. The JK is still around. It hasn't left. There will be a complete remodel of that Jeep.
War Pig, that is.
War Pig.
And for those of you who don't know, that's the one that.
Yeah, I flew through the air.
Yeah, we'll just put that video right here so it makes sense. Insert.
Gratuitous clip.
Yeah. Jacob lost his mind. That's my son, Jacob. He had a Jacob with him too.
I got a lot of Jacobs and Tonys around me.
Yeah, we're surrounded by awesome.
Yeah, then that hurts. But yeah, I think that's a really solid plan. We toyed with the idea, and I'm not totally taking it off the table right now, but taking the money from the Gladiator cell and buying a Mojave Gladiator, doing a 392 in it with just a simple 4.5-inch Evo HD suspension with the Fox 3.0 internal bypass shocks. I mean, to me, I know that Jeep would ride like money. Like, that would probably be the most dialed in build that I could come up with. I mean, coilovers are nice, they're awesome, bypass shocks are awesome, but it to me is like the Mojave with the bolstered seats and the steering wheel just feels really comfortable to be in.
Yep.
And then taking and putting the Evo HD suspension, it rides really well. And we choose that one because it works well with the weight of the engine in the front. Those are springs that have a little bit firmer spring rate than, say, the Enforcer springs that Evo did. So, not quite enough to fully compensate for the weight of the 392, but it took minimal amount of spacer on top of those springs. And then with those 3.0s, good Lord, I've never driven a Jeep that rides that good. So you build this build that covers it checks all the boxes, right? It's got badass power. It's really clean looking build. And then you throw in a suspension that's not overcomplicated. You know, I know there's customers out there that can testify to this, but I've talked to a lot of people out of doing coilovers because it's not for every single build out there. It's not a. I don't believe it's
a different ride. The double throwdown's a different ride.
It is a different ride.
I like it. It's very firm.
I've always felt like, you know, with that suspension is a very, very specific suspension. You're just going to take that and drive it on the highway the same way that you're going to drive it through a set of whoops at 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour off road, which you can definitely go faster than that, but most people aren't going to go that fast. They're not going to go much faster than that.
I think that's fair. I mean, 30 mile an hour faster than what I would normally take a Jeep on. The double throwdown is smooth as butts.
Yeah,
it's just smooth.
And the bypass shocks really they need to be dialed in to a specific terrain, I guess you could say. So once you get it dialed in and tuned, even if you go as far as revalving the shocks, getting it dialed in, then it's not going to drive the same way on the street as it does through a whoop section, vice versa. You know, it's whatever you dial it into. So that was the trouble. I was like, all right, well, if I keep the Gladiator and I go this far with the suspension, what am I going to tune the suspension to? Well, 99% of the time, if not more, you're driving it on the highways, like as far as I go.
Yeah. I drive it everywhere. I drive mine everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
so yours need to be dialed into everyday driving, right? Which is kind of ridiculous. Well, then why'd you put that suspension on there? Because you're you're not encountering massive potholes. I guess if you're
Baja,
Louisiana, maybe, you know, somewhere that's just terrible roads. Michigan, horrible roads.
throwing it out there.
Yeah, just throwing it out there. Then, okay, get your double throwdown. You know, go tune your suspension to that. But with having the Fox 3.0s with the DSCs on, man, you can dial that thing in and it rides amazing. And you're gonna enjoy driving that Jeep every day. I mean, no matter what, you can adjust it. It has high speed and low speed adjusters on it. So
Yeah.
you can definitely play around with those a lot more than other shocks and have a lot of fun with it. So I think that would be, and the only thing as far as aesthetics go, I would probably go with the steel Rubicon front bumper, take the outside wing like we did, just like we did on yours. And I think that looks so good. I think that's where the best looking bumper, in my opinion, for the JL and JT is that bumper with the wings taken off on the outside, having that Ward winch down tucked inside the bumper and all pretty much covered up.
Yeah.
And it just disappears into the vehicle.
A couple of LP6s right there. It looks good.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
I like the Baja Designs linkable lights.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, we got them on order for the Bronco.
Nice.
That one on there, I mean, maybe if somebody came up with a better mount than those cowl windshield A-pillar hugger mounts, like, I know that Tony, and not you, the other Tony at the shop, could sit down and come up with a decide on a really nice mount that would probably mount to the fiberglass, the Freedom panels and stuff.
The Bronco has those two removable.
They do.
things. Yeah.
They do.
That's where the wires hit.
We'll talk about that when it comes out, but
Yeah.
there's some things to talk about with that.
Yeah, so we haven't talked about this yet, but the interesting thing is that I had a pretty compelling offer on Rooster about 4 weeks ago that I didn't take. And my whole plan, ironically, was to get a Mojave and do something similar, except for you'll have to explain what the suspension is, but I saw AJ's from Northridge's rear suspension.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Rear suspension. Well, the Northridge truck kind of pushes the rear axle back a little bit. It gave it a really aggressive stance, and that's what I wanted for a daily driver.
Yeah.
Because every day when I get up, I love driving Rooster, but it is race to replace. It's a Jeep, yeah. So if I just come back from Moab, I might have to do something to it before I want to daily drive it. So I just jump in the truck.
Right.
So I wouldn't go as wild on that, but damn, you know, the first time we go to Baja, the first time we go back to the Rubicon, I'm going to be bitching because I don't have Rooster, you know, and so that's where
So maybe that's the thing is, like, I'm going to take my old JK and revamp it. I mean, JKs aren't, I mean, if you're going to do what we're going to do to my JK, go buy you an 07.
Yeah.
Just buy you an 07 that's clapped out, a two-wheel drive model for that, man. I've seen those things go for like $5,000. And then we just take it and we completely transform it into something different. But yeah, so we were going to build the Mojave, and aesthetically we were just going to change the front bumper a little bit, maybe put the light bar on it with some amber lights somewhere, and then we were going to do our rear skid on it, rear bumper things. But that was it. We were going to build a nice tube rack for the bed to hold the spare and some gas cans. But ultimately, it came down to, we already had this build planned. I just don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into the truck selling business where I'm building JTs and selling them with Hemis in them. I mean, that's somebody else's game. It's not mine. So this is what we decided. We're gonna take what we have and build it. And then when the Bronco comes out, I'm not gonna say what we're gonna do with it yet, but it is gonna be, we'll probably have something more along the lines of the Warthog, if not more than what the Warthog is going to be, probably before the Warthog ever even comes out. So I'm hoping, that is my goal, is hoping that happens. So, and this just gives us a good version. I mean, we started out as being Exodus Jeeps. I don't even, can I say that in the video, Jeep? By going that direction, I think we ended up having to change the name Exodus4x4. Well, that's what we like to do anyways. Just because it was a Jeep shop, we were doing a lot of Toyota work anyways. So it's time for us to make a little bit of a pivot, embrace the Ford community, as well as the Toyota community, as well as the Jeep community, because there's so many people out there I need to help.
Yeah. And I don't
well,
really...
not me, my guys need to help.
Yeah,
I'm just
to me, I don't mind. I don't care what badge they have when they wheel, as long as
I don't either.
And I think that's jackwagon. I'm fine with it.
I think that's so stupid too. Like, I get so frustrated whenever I go on the Bronco forum or I go on the Jeep page, Bronco and Jeep pages, and I go on there and they're bashing each other. And when you call them out on, they're like, "Oh, we're just joking." No, you're not, man. Dude, I could tell how butthurt you are over this, and your butt. It's terrible. Like, you guys are really having a hard time with this whole Bronco thing.
Yeah.
And the Bronco, and you know, and if something goes wrong on it, like the molded in color tops, or you know, is keeping you from getting yours.
Yeah. Case in point.
It's like, dude, they're bringing back something that hasn't happened since, I don't even remember, what year did they stop making the Broncos? Like 96? What do they call OBS for its body stop? We haven't seen it since then. They've completely brought out this new vehicle and tried to throw it in production, and then COVID hit. I mean, and that all happening at the same time.
It's real. It's a real problem for supply chain.
I mean, I can't get shocks for Jeeps that have been around for a decade. I can't even get inventory of that. How do you think these guys are building something that's never been built before? I mean, Broncos have been built before, but not this one. This is completely new tooling. Everything's new about it. So you got to cut them some slack. I would cut Jeep slack if they came out with a new
Gladiator.
If the Gladiator,
yeah.
I mean, but it was so similar to the JL that it went off a lot smoother.
Yeah. Although the launch edition did fail to launch. I mean, case in point, I got mine like 4 months after they launched or something like that.
Yeah, there were guys that gave up. Like Eddie from Waylife just completely gave up on his, and he just bought one that somebody had because he never got his launch edition.
Well, that's hard on a guy like that whose business is making videos on that. I mean, that was his lifeline.
That's his whole thing, is making videos about Jeeps, and when there's nothing new to talk about, it really sucks. So here you go, it's the latest and greatest thing to happen to Jeep in a long time, and they can't even talk about it because he didn't have his Jeep, so he went out and bought one. Yeah. Well, you know, that sucks, but it happens to everybody. It happened to Jeep when they came out, and they had problems with them. But I would say for the most part, they did a better job. But I think Ford. I mean, don't get me wrong, Ford screwed this one up. So
no. Yeah.
All right, let's jump out and get rid of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Register. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Over here.
So, anyways,
we were going down the get off Bronco's ass.
Yeah, I mean, but they do deserve to have their ass kicked for it, because this recent problem debacle with the top and them just holding everybody's hostage until the top gets. Dude, how long is it going to be until that top? It could be a year. Yeah. So what, are they not going to give you your Bronco? Like, no, they're going to
give me the option for a soft top, or let me bring a best top to the Ford dealership, deliver it wrapped in plastic, and you know.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's frustrating, and I think it's kind of stupid, and I think that they're going to figure out that they can't sit on these vehicles that long. They're going to have to put soft tops on them, and they may be working on that right now. They may be trying to acquire enough to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and they're all set. I mean, I know they don't want them sitting outside, and I know they want paid for them, so surely they're going to come up with something.
Yeah. Now, so you're going to keep your JL?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I really want a JT, but I enjoy driving my Raptor too. So
that's the thing, man. These things. I mean, I have to be real, and these things ride. I mean, the F-150 rides are really nice right now. I mean, it could only get better.
Yeah.
Maybe, if I don't overdo it.
The Bronco, my deal with Rooster and the Bronco at the same time is they're both SUVs. So that's where in my mind it was making sense to move to the JT so I could keep my Jeep itch scratched, and my Jeep friends and Jeep trips, you know, those ones that are Jeep exclusive. You know, staying in that group of people that I enjoy wheeling with.
Right.
But then I'd also have the Bronco which I initially intended might be a great Baja vehicle once it was built.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I can't just have one vehicle.
No.
This is because I build vehicles. I can't just drive one. I have to have a couple or 2-3 different ones. Shop owners aren't made of money. I mean, this is stuff that, believe me, I would rather put that money in my own pocket and do something completely different. These are fun toys. They're fun vehicles. And I try to build them, like I said, I try not to overbuild them. I try to build them in a sense that you don't have to have more than one. You can daily drive these things.
Yeah, a nice Swiss Army knife vehicle would be great.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. Swiss Army knife vehicle.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to do everything.
And the Gladiator, for the most part, did a lot of things for me. But it was tight. And we went to New Mexico one year. The family went to New Mexico one year. And there's 3 grown-ass people in there and a kid in a car seat. And it wasn't terrible. I sure would have rather been in this, though.
Yeah, if you got to ride in the back seat, the Gladiator or the JK is no place, or JL is no place to be. Yeah, just pad out, I'm out. You know.
This thing, though, it's got its own area code factor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge and vast and comfortable.
Matter of fact, I think I seen one with a refrigerator and a blender in the back seat in Baja, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm no doubt.
It may have been a maroon one.
Christian.
Christian.
Freaking clown.
Yeah.
All right, let's go get these tools.